let's talk about some good things with our day. So, I had grown up in Northern Virginia, born in D.C. back in the 80s, early 80s. And when I graduated high school, I went to Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia in '99 to become a filmmaker, and got two scholarships to go. It's a private art college in Savannah, Georgia, and I also was part of the Hillel group, which is a volunteer group with the Jewish community from our school to do community service and spend time with rabbis and their families, and that was a lot of fun to have Passover in a Orthodox Jewish home with their kids. It was a lot of fun. The rabbi cracked me up. He said, "Man, we got so drunk on Yom Kippur. It was just they were such lovely people that I'll never forget, and their kindness of welcoming us, college students into their home with their kids and sitting there and doing Passover with us. I'll never forget that. That was super special to me. I got double recommended out of all the orientation leaders who we would show the kids around the school because most people were from out of the country coming to the Savannah. And not only do they not know the culture, it was not a regular campus. It was buildings literally spread throughout the town. So you'd have to sometimes walk or bike to your next class. The classes were about 2.5 hours long. You'd have like 2, 3 classes a day, like 4 days a week. And so, you have to like your toolkit, your portfolio, or the film equipment was of course kept at the building that you went to school in. But sometimes you'd have the film camera too to go out on a video shoot. And, I'm like an 18-year-old, 110-pound chick in Savannah, Georgia. It's not Northern Virginia. Let me just say it like that. So you gotta watch it back. You gotta be street smart. Well, having been raised in Northern Virginia, you even think like that. So you have to learn quick. So I know several times I was followed home by a couple of people and who did not have the best intentions. Because my intuition's really good, I know when people are following me and I know what to do. So I walked up. I'd come home from class one day. It let out at 8:30, and I had a ton of friends, a ton of really, really. They're my best friends, man, and they're all pretty much dudes who looked after me, like their sister. And I remember coming home one day with a bunch of equipment, and two dudes were following me home. So I just went into the street, and I went against traffic, so the cars could see me coming. And I went to my guy friend's house, and I walked in their house like it was mine, and I closed the door and I locked it. And they were like, "Yo, man, you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, look at the dude out front. He's fun." I'm like, they're like, "Stay here." I was like, "Yeah, I know." And they were like really, really proud of me that I just walked in there like I owned the place and locked the door. And they're like, "Yo." And they would, it happened a few times. Meanwhile, making friends, really, really good friends that I could always rely on, they sat there and protected me, see if I ever needed anything, would come over. Because I was very focused on school. I wasn't really focused on romantic relationships. I was there to go to school. Discovered marijuana when I was in my junior year. When I first hit a bowl, I was like, "That's it. Like, wow, it's not even a big deal." And I remember the whole time, having grown up in Northern Virginia, I was like, "I'm allergic to weed," and my friends and I laugh now because, the things that trip you up, that people teach you, and then you find out your own. You're like, "Oh, that's it, yo. This isn't even a big deal." I got double recommended out of the orientation leaders to teach the provisionals class of the kids that were about to get kicked out of the school. And it's hard to get in because it's a private art college. And you start your major the first day, the first year training. And it was very, very serious. And so it was my job to teach these kids who were about to get kicked out. It was a 5 credited class, and I was supposed to give them advice and like kind of motivate them into gear again. And it was very interesting. Met a lot of people, learned a lot of things. Wasn't always easy at the same time. Man, I had the best time of my life at college. Yeah, smoking joints on the top of the roof, watch on the 4th of July, watching fireworks, playing guitar, you know, motorcycle events and, trips to the gas station at, Parker's where you get food. It was like this gourmet gas station that had all this badass food, Just good memories, that we hold on to. I met a couple down there who had a business, the Archers, and they had a construction business. It was a man and wife who I became very good friends with. They were like parents to me when I was down there. They'd have me over for dinner. And Steve's wife is from Germany, and he would have me over. We'd smoke joints, and his wife would be in the room, obviously, right, because she was there. So we'd all just like hang out, and we'd like laugh about stuff, watch TV together. It was super cool. And Steve was just straight up like, look, if my wife don't like you, she'll say something, and she laughs. She's, I like you. I was like, oh, I like you, because that's the way I am too. It'll be obvious if we don't like you. So they always had my back. I helped Steve build porches, actually, for some money with his business. And he looked out for me. He introduced me to people that he knew that were in the town that actually protected me from the people that were following me. And it came as a surprise of how the story unfolded and how things aren't always what they seem. They're better. I remember, so Savannah has squares in it, like miniature parks, like throughout the town. And so I'm like coming home from class one day, walking over to my other apartment, and Steve's like, hey, what's going on, man? And so I go over there and talk to him. He's like, I want you to meet a friend of mine. I said, okay. And tall black gentleman. And again, I just see people. And so I shook his hand, and I felt kindness and I felt warmth, and I looked in his face and I was like, he's good, So we go back into Steve's house because we started smoking a joint, and Steve's like, don't be upset with me. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, I have to tell you something about my friend. I don't want you to misinterpret this. I said, okay. He goes, I don't want you to fear it either. I said, all right. He goes, well, there's a reason I had you meet that man. He's going to protect you. He said, have you noticed that everyone stopped following you home? I said, yeah. He said, he's watching out for you. Now, this man had been to prison before because somebody had broken into his home unannounced and tried to mess with him and his wife. So he had to defend himself and his wife, and he got in trouble for defending himself. So when he got out 10 years later, he started protecting me, another woman that needed protecting. I think this is a beautiful thing because things aren't always what they seem. And every time I saw that man after that, I went and talked to him and thanked him. And I was always safe after that. And I just wanted to say thank you for this beautiful experience, for having met so many awesome people that I've connected with, and always remembering that and keeping that close in my heart, that these things still do reside, and they're still really, really cool. Just thought I'd share. All right, have a good day.